All right, so today's lesson objective, students will solve absolute value equations. So what is an absolute value? Well, the definition is that it is the distance absolute value is the distance from zero on a number line. And so what does that mean? Well, distance is always positive. So an absolute value is always positive. Okay, so for example 1, I've got the absolute value of x is equal to 5. So inside the absolute value, it might be positive or negative. It's just the answer is always positive when it comes on the outside. So what's inside of there, it could be that x is equal to 5, or x could equal negative 5, because if I take the absolute value of negative 5, then it would also equal positive 5. So we have two possible answers on these. All right, I have another example for your notes. In example 2, now for this one, we've got the absolute value of x, and then outside the absolute value bar is minus 3 equals 4. So the steps that you want to take is you want to get the absolute value expression alone, and then you write positive and negative cases. Then you solve both equations and check your answer. So for the first one, let me give you a chance to write that down. Okay, so first thing I need to do is get the absolute value expression all by itself. So I need to get rid of that negative 3. The opposite of subtracting 3 is adding 3. So now I have the absolute value of x is equal to 7. So that means that either x equals a positive 7 or x equals a negative 7. Okay, and since this one, there's nothing else in the absolute value bars, this one's really straightforward. We get it pretty quickly. And then if I want to check my answer, I can plug it back in. The absolute value of 7 is 7. 7 minus 3 does equal 4. Or if I put in the negative 7, I still end up getting 7 minus 3 equals 4, which is true. So I checked my answer, it works, I know I did it right. So now we'll do one on your whiteboards. Okay, the absolute value of x, and then outside the absolute value bar, we have minus 8 equals 13. So go ahead and solve that. And show me your answer. Okay, so it looks like most of you guys got that. You had to add 8 to both sides. And then you had that the absolute value of x was equal to 21. So x equals positive 21 or x equals negative 21. Do you have a question? Yes, you can. You can also write it plus or minus 21. Okay, but be careful because it's not always going to come out to just plus or minus a number. Sometimes the numbers are going to be completely different, like for instance on our next example. So do make sure you actually do the work and test it out. Don't just jump to plus or minus whatever you get on your positive case. All right, so this is for your notes. we have 8 equals the absolute value of x minus 2.5. So step 1 is I get the absolute value expression alone. Is it already alone? Is there anything else on that side of the equal sign? No, there isn't. So it's already alone. So now I have to write the positive and negative cases. So that means that either x minus 2.5 equals a positive 8, or x minus 2.5 equals a negative 8. And so then I go on to solve it. I add 2.5 to both sides. And I'm going to do the same thing on the second one. And so over here, I get x is equal to 10.5. And for the other one, a negative 8 plus 2.5 is negative 5.5. So see, this time the numbers didn't come out the same, did they? So you want to be really careful about using those plus or minuses. Another way that you might see the answer written is what's called set notation. And so you would just write that in these braces. That's what those are called. The squiggly lines are called braces. Brackets are the ones that are straight, so that's a brace. And so yeah, that's another way that you could write the answer, or that you may see the answer if you're checking your odd answers in the back of the book. Okay, so now one for your whiteboards. We have the absolute value of 2x minus 4 equals 22. Go ahead and solve that one. Okay, so sometimes you're going to have a situation where an absolute value is being multiplied by a number. So it's really, 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 really important that you do not distribute. Okay, this is one time when you do not distribute. What you have to do is divide. Do not distribute, you have to divide. Okay, so for example 4, you see what I mean? The absolute value is being multiplied by 3. So I have 3 times the absolute value of x plus 7 equals 24. I am not going to distribute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I divide here by 3 and I divide here by 3. Now I have the absolute value of x plus 7 is equal to 8. I write my positive and negative cases. X plus 7 equals 8, or x plus 7 equals negative 8, and I solve from there. So we subtract 7 from both sides on both equations. And I get x equals 1, or x equals negative 15. So it's really important that you guys remember, do not distribute. I'm going to have you guys go ahead and try example 5 on your whiteboards. What are we going to be dividing by? Negative 2. And a negative divided by a negative is positive. So keep that in mind. All right, go ahead and do that one. Okay, so when you divided by negative 2, you got the absolute value was equal to 8, and then you write your positive and negative cases, subtract 3 from both sides, and it looked like most of you got x was equal to 5, or x equals negative 11. Okay, so what do we know about absolute value? It is always what? All right. Thank you.